Here, guess go. You got games on your phone.
You got games on that.
You got games on that.
You got PUBG Mobile on that one. Oh,
You got
very
PUBG
nice.
Mobile. Oh, you're playing PMGC. Oh, let me play.
Let me have a go. Anyway, straight into our game at the beginning. We already have our playing path on our screens right now, heading from the western side of the map over towards the northeast in Kameshki, and we'll be dropping our players off very shortly as they head into this one.
Kameshki, the destination on the western side. Teams that generally like to drop towards Novo or towards Milton might be a little bit slower on this one, but they should be fine. The circle yet to pop though. We've seen some fairly dramatic shifts over the last couple of days. Blank, maybe we'll see a return to normalcy here for the team's sake, if nothing else.
Absolutely. I think that towards the end of the day, it really did require a little bit of extra capabilities from some of these teams in terms of their macro, their rotations to be on point. With us having some of our hardest shifts throughout the entirety of this tournament. It was fun to see, but like you said, maybe back to a little bit more of normality, hopefully to get those more central shifts towards the end of the game. But again, it's always nice to challenge these players, especially in PMGC. It's becoming a lot more about being able to take those engagements, take those fights, take those heavy priority compounds, right? And if it means that you have to go for an engagement to take them off another team, that's what's going to win you the game. And I think that's what's becoming more and more interesting, and we're starting to see, a lot of these teams differentiate themselves from one another just because you're realizing who has the better gun skill, who has that better team fight capability, which is really cool in my opinion. I feel like those are the teams that deserve to get the big points. Like Influence Kemin, their rotations are pretty damn good, but on top of that, they're not afraid to shunt you out of a position that they think is a winning formula for themselves.
IQ gets away from the buggy rundown. Box didn't want to invest the time there. Tizzy's actually not too far away, so three teams in fairly close proximity at this stage coming through. MTech Storm spread out over Gatka, Aegon XIA, and Box, who are grabbing a couple of vehicles and seemingly looking to head south. The circle popped down towards the south, and it does cover quite a bit of Military Island, but likely that we won't be ending there. It's more likely we'll be heading up. Wait. They're different teams.
Those bumper cars right there. I like that.
Okay, fair enough. Well, still in the vehicle. Not too sure what Gotani was trying to go for there, but I guess it worked.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you take. I think he flipped Axa over like a full barrel roll on that side. But if that's what it takes, delay an enemy team with the distraction tactics, that's what's required. Axa didn't seem too phased by that. Probably one of our most smiley players here in Group Red at the moment. He was unfazed by that whole shenanigans going down and just decided he'll take that one, get on his merry way as he was barrel roll flip back onto the road, which is great news for them. BTR, on the other hand, having a really good return to form at the moment. DRS ahead of them with 115 points. BTR tied behind in fifth with 115 themselves. But again, very, very well done to BTR and super happy days to DRS, considering this is a real good improvement from this team, from PMGC to PMGC. Seeing them here in the very first group versus some very difficult teams, being in fourth place is nothing to scoff at.
Certainly not. I mean, it's not quite that top 3 spot, but it certainly set you in good stead moving into the survival stage. Have that confidence that you would be one of the top teams going in there, and someone will have to be. R8 looting up in North George. They've been curtailed once or twice by LGD on this leave, but I think LGD have sort of moved into this idea more of moving south and away from this engagement on circles like this. They just don't want to get embroiled in it, even though they could edgeguard R8 out.
I think LGD is starting to see more and more that there is a lot of space down towards this western side, and some other teams have also noticed that on this side of the map. I mean, you look at I8, for instance, now they're holding down towards the south of Gatka. MTech is up towards that north side. So a lot more of this space has been taking up within the map. Before, it was a little bit easier for LGD and maybe Mad Bulls to make this rotation with only one team being in the area, and that being MTech Storm, and a lot of times them looting up towards the underneath of Everest. So you are just seeing that clear hole in the map on that western side being available. That has been filled up now, concreted in, so LGD is going to have a little bit more of a difficult rotation. I still would assume that they'd head through Hospital, because S2G, maybe not the easiest team to face early on.
Certainly not. I mean, we've seen them be that punchy team that did feel a little bit more reserved in a couple of the previous days' games, which obviously earned them quite a bit of points, and their viability in that top 3 certainly earned from that. Question, though, is can that be maintained? As you said, maybe a little bit of a dip. We'll have to wait and see if they can stand it back.
Buderam over towards Lipovka, taking that classic 2-1-1 split over towards Prison, Mansion. These guys get looted up very quickly and then head out over towards Shelter area. Titans also like to hit up that position. The Infinity have backfilled before, as have DRS, so Shelter does become quite the hotspot, but with this circle being so far down towards the south, it does give DRS a lot more time to figure out what they would like to do next. They don't necessarily have to be on a timer right now, and with Nova Noia as well as Military Base itself offering such good loot, I think it would make sense for these guys to stick around in this area for a little bit longer, and DRS should be coming to the circle with absolutely tons of gear to be working with, level 3s across the board, and with some very, very well stocked backpacks. And I'm talking smokes, I'm talking grenades. That's really going to support DRS in that late game, especially when we're seeing so far, you know, a lot of these teams now picking up individual spots within the circle and just taking those solo positions. It does make a lot more sense to be able to get a lot of that utility on board in the early game and work with that in towards the late.
Ghost staying alive. Not being spotted right now by MTech Storm. I think Ghost has a little bit of gear on board. Yeah, has got that Mini 14. Only the level 1 backpack and no helmet. So it would be pretty difficult to take a fight with that level 1 vest as well. So Ghost a little bit loot starved here for Aegon XI8. A lot of teams on that western side spread out and taking the loot up for themselves.
Yeah, LGD barreling through. And I think this is the issue you'd find if you were looting down towards the south side of Gatka in the fielded area, is that it is kind of trash loot. Like, you're not going to find too much, and you're just looking for scraps here and there. You're also starved of vehicles, which is another big thing. LGD able to instantly move down from crates area, rotate through the fields instantly towards some buildings that they can now set up as home base. S2G make a different approach on this circle than what we've seen so far. I think that now they just barreled down from ruins, found a very good rotational path here, which is 100% a beeline, essentially, to one of the more prominent compounds to the south side of Potato Hill. So central as well. So it looks like they're going to be setting up for that late game. They've got a lot of looting done over towards Atlantis as well as ruins. They should be happy for the remainder of the game.
Titan and Farm on the south coast. On the west peak of it. No one really too close by. S2G a little bit further northwest. Influence Kemen just coming into the east side of Potato Hill now. And Buderam coming in through Shelter into that eastern side of the circle. DRS still the only team on Military Island. Aegon XI8 holding around that mouth and maybe looking to cross just a little bit over that bridge. And I said Blanket was likely to end on the mainland. It seems like I'm going to have to eat my words. That is a massive south shift as Influence Kemen crash into 4 rivals. Both of them swinging past on those hillsides. 4 rivals managing to get a lot done. The little boy seemingly unable to hop out there. Will get felled, and Influence Kemen losing 2 very, very quickly. A 3rd soon to fall. Law eliminated out of the fight. Kayovsky running for the hills from Influence Kemen.
Yeah, I think for Little Boy there, that was a case of having to switch the back seat and jump out from that side, considering, you know, I would say his exit from the passenger seat was blocked by this white car. You struggling there a little bit. Might have been something on his end, but we can't say for sure. In the meantime, Influence Kemen take a massive hit from 4 rivals as they try and make their way down. IA, it looked like they might have a good position within this circle, but with a couple of players left behind out in the field, they're a little bit split off. So only 3 players of their team ready to cross. And Mad Bulls already in a fairly decent position. They have to cross over towards Sosnovka. For the time being, looks like they're just going to try and take down the gatekeepers.
moment, AgronXA, that 3-player squad, MTech Storm on the bridge, sandwiched between, and in a really open and barren position for MTech Storm. They can't move forwards into AgronXA. They can't move backwards now with the Mad Bulls coming on through and pushing in. Tarman needs to find a pick. That's all they can do, really. Look for a pick, try and exploit that, because it is not going to get any easier right now.
Tarman misses his nade on that side. In the meantime, Mad Bulls bringing one of their players back into the fold. I8, IQ will find Tarman, in which case Blade is going to try and finish this player off. Remember, the more players that I8 can remove from MTech's side, the quicker that they'll be able to start dealing with Mad Bulls. And this is a dangerous push here coming through from Skills, as maybe not aware that there is another team on the other side of the bridge. Ghost also still remaining over towards those fields. And Skills gets found by a very nice little angle from MTech Storm.
These bridges are so dangerous. Those little catwalks at the side, when you drop down low, your feet are so exposed to someone on the other side, and you have to be worried about a player on the same line as you. It's another piece of cover to aid in crossing these bridges, but it is very, very dangerous if you don't have full control, which Skills has found out here. Able to drop a smoke away from a teammate and maybe looking for that res for the Mad Bulls to keep them up at 3, which would be almost vital for their future movements. R8 are going to be starting to come through as well from this north side, potentially proving to be tricky on the push. Skills is spotted, but they do not want to let this one go for MTech Storm. A lovely nade over the top, and Monkey is going to fall. Zerich drops down all the way to the ground, and this is the other way that you can try and cross here, is try and go for the swim. Spray over towards the player up on the catwalk, does not go well, does not connect, and the Mad Bulls are swept aside.
Mad Bulls, I think there's an incredible amount of nerves and pressure coming onto this team. It is very unlike them to be playing in this kind of way. They feel all over the place at the moment, and to be honest with you, at the current trajectory, I don't see them climbing out from that bottom 5, which is a massive shame, honestly, with the way that they played in Western Europe. It really does not translate very well into PMGC at the moment. Like, you look at the 2 performances they had in their individual PMPLs and the championship, I don't think that this lobby in particular is that much of a step up for them. So the fact that they're playing like this, I think there's huge amount of pressure on them right now coming towards a LAN format.
Ooh. That one looked devastating. But he somehow gets away with that. I thought that might have been a headshot from Godtani there.
I think it was. Might be level 3.
Yeah, I think it's a level 3 helmet in play to be able to save you from that one.
It's the only way that happens.
Yeah, Box holding with 2 in the building. Titan looking to take them away from it. Box do have the position on the outside, but the burn is good. Teak lights it up, shreds them down, forces the backup from Soaz. Trismay on the side swipe, though, opens up, and Titan lose 1, 2, and 3 very, very quickly. I think that's the Infinity coming in to be a third party on this engagement, and now they can start to push on in. Godtani, of course, taking those shots in earlier, will be continuing to put that pressure onto Titans. Box capitalized, 3 players up and into the building.
I mean, Trismay has been significantly important for Box to be able to remain up in a lot of these extended fights. And the fact that he's able to find some of these really cheeky and quick picks during these engagements is what makes him such a clutch player and important player for the team. They don't have him. I think that the other players in the team are very good at supporting and getting some of these knocks. Break, in particular, is great at delaying a lot of these engagement, but Trismay is really the one that finds those big hitters.
The bridge on the west, a battlefield strewn with boxes. Everybody looking to cross. It was unlikely that they'd have to make this decision, but they're looking to try and make good on it now. That western bridge, AgronXA actually looking to regroup on the south side. They're falling away a little bit. R8 and MTech Storm embroiled on the northern side of the bridge. S2G as well. But only the 1 player left, that's Ray Z, on that west bridge as well.
I mean, a lot of these players fell into the pit trap of not going to Military Island early on. When you get a circle that crosses so much like we did on Zone 2, I think you have to send down towards Sosnovka Military Base one way or the other if it's not crossing through the water or just sending it across the bridge. If you don't do it early enough like BTR did, where, you know, they're coming down from Yaz and they took their time about it and they took a little bit too long as well, you just have this instance where you are just caught out in the cold and you're not getting in. No one brought their jackets to a wrangler in this case, so freezing to death on that side, it is just painful, really. So a lot of these teams that got A quick movement over towards this side of the map, very happy. And I think LGD have really played their cards right, heading towards Ferry Pier, weighing out some of those engagements on the western side, taking that boat, and then heading in underneath on the south. They could set themselves up for a very big win here.
It seems like too many teams went for the call of going over those bridges and have been caught up in it, and not too many have gone for those boat rotations or trying to go for the swim. Titan still under pressure in this fight against Box. 2 of them were alive, but one of them quickly dispatched. 6 holding out on the inside, gets 1 knock, but traded off nicely by Bensu. Enigma Galaxy, Bigatron, this is on the north side of Military Island right now. There are players out in the water from Team Queso just to the north side of it. Bigatron still handling them. They're pinging them away. Freak falls as well. These nades are pretty good for Bigatron. They're working out. Hamodi down to the shots from Luxy up the top of the hill. Zuxi and Jen Foster trading off one of those positions. Ralph falls. Lord over in the
Team
building.
Queso?
Last player standing. Team Queso trying to rise from the depths. But there's only Papi Potro close enough in the fight. Reyes at the back looking for a heal. Dispatched 1. Papi Potro good for 1 frag. Can he find the next? It's an even fight right now on the hillside. Jen Foster is able to win that one out though. A heavy hitter for the Bigatron roster. And really bolstering them here. Reyes, for the Team Queso, though, has been equally strong. Despite their position at the bottom of the tables, this is a man you cannot count out just yet. Luxy moves in for the regroup, and they want the 2v1.
Oh, this is greedy from Luxy, but I like it. Comes in, picks up the double, now looks for 1 more. Reyes, though, massively clutch player here for Team Queso. Pulled them out from a lot of situations where things looked extremely dire. But Luxy moves up with the grenade, spots Reyes as he retreats away. He looks to just pick up some more loot, but this circle will start to hurt just a little bit in zone 4, but gets as much loot on as possible, knowing that he'll need these nades later on. At this point, I think for them, it's just a case of leaving, but Luxy sticks around for too long here, and only Jem Foster and Zuxi makes it away. Either way, though, for BTR, this is a good result, considering where they were in the circle for a long time.
I feel like there was a little bit of a misstep from Luxy. They knew exactly where Reyes was. They knew he was going to have to move with the blue zone. You're waiting for that peak. You know it has to happen. And Luxy felt just completely open on the broadside, stood up on the headland. There was no refrag potential. I don't think that was the smartest of decisions. But they get away with 2 and leave Reyes as 1 for Team Queso on the north side.
Maybe in the heat of the moment, you've eliminated 4 players, and then you go for the 5th, and you're like, surely there can't be any more players alive here, or at least they've retreated. But yeah, Luxy goes for a little bit of a looting session and forgets there's no vehicle available to him. Again, BTR have been struggling through on that north side, so you can kind of understand where some of those small mistakes might bleed into the gameplay. Either way, 6 eliminations and living through that, again, whilst being trapped on that northern coastal side for a while. Quite impressive. They are taking shots now from over 4 rivals. Jen Foster will drop out the vehicle and get knocked. Better than being blown up. But again, Reyes is still in the wings, and it looks like 4 rivals are going to send in to finish the job.
In the meantime, over on the southwest side of the military base, Egon XA8 finally finished the job against MTech Storm. A fight that's been going on since about zone 2 on that western bridge. Will have moved over to the control tower. The circle centers LGD's way.
I mean, LGD have been holding some incredible positions throughout this game. DRS obviously starting on Sosnovka. I said they didn't have to move until later with it being so much towards that side of the map, and they haven't, which affords them some good position in the circle. Again, though, LGD, with this 2-2 split that we've been seeing quite frequently from them, are able to claim a lot of landmass for their own, and DRS do have a little bit of a difficult push towards that western side, considering it's uphill just a little bit, and YZZ as well as CCC will be able to watch down towards them. Budoram aren't comfortably in yet either, having to cross some open ground. So I'd say for LGD, their main problems are 4 rivals on their northern side, and maybe some cheeky pickoffs onto maybe YZZ or CCC, because they don't have a huge amount of cover.
Reyes managed to get past 4 rivals there. Find some cover, but LGD have spotted out the position. Will take the shots over that way. You can't hold near the buggy. It will go up in flames exactly like that. And you can't crawl away from it up the hill. Your legs will show and you'll go down to the gunfire. Damned if you do, damned if you don't there. But that will draw Team Queso's run to an end for this game. And LGD still hold in that central area.
Yeah, I think this could be a really good opportunity for LGD to actually bump up their point scoring to the next level, really. And again, I was saying yesterday, a lot of these Chinese teams take a couple of days to adapt to our meta, to be honest with you. They're playing on almost their circle settings, but not quite. Either way, they're just getting back into the action of it. You can see now they're feeling a bit more comfortable, being a little bit more like they can start to frag out, strike out. And I do like this positioning, this aggressive amount of control they're taking over the map. And again, this is not from an easy position. They came from crates in South George, John, down towards Ferry Pier, avoided a lot of that engagement, bolted it round, got onto the island, moved towards this position and took a 2-2. So this is a lot of things having to come to pass for LGE to get into this position. And it certainly wasn't easy, but they took the test with flying colours.
Well, have made it happen. This is a lot of sequential smart decisions coming through from LGD, I think, is the direction this is going. So happy to see that start to stand up, as you say, into this differing meta they've ventured in towards. DRS from the eastern side still playing right on the edge. They don't want to give up that high ground just yet. Kengzo with the SKS. Shots over towards Killer. Smoke blooms on it. But the tires have already gone, so it's going to be difficult to move away in that. That should be okay, though, as the Dacia rolls downhill fairly well. Actually, sends it up to the top side as well, regrouping with the rest of the team.
You've got that valley down towards that western side, and I think Killer was a really important anchor for them on that side of the map, but with Buradam spotting that one out, even Four Rivals looking down towards that position, it's difficult for Killer to stick around there for too long. You saw he was having to invest smokes, and he doesn't really want to do that early on here. You know, there's still around 8 minutes more of the match to go at this point in time, in which case they'll need those smokes later. Circle heads over towards the west here, all encompassing of LGD at the moment. You question how long they're going to go for this 2-2 split, and realistically, I think they have to continue to pull it out. So this will require them to hit some really nice shots on any players coming in towards the circle, because CCC and YZZ are important to spot the players on the eastern side, and MVM and Suki have to remain in this position because it's a strong compounded area for the rest of the team to regroup on.
Four Rivals looking to start to move in on that northern side, and as you said, they are currently LGD's main threat. That hill just to the east of LGD, they have looked for that regroup, so they are not going to go for the 2-2 split anymore. They just want to hold out in a little bit of a central area, so they've left that hill.
I think that's actually kind of a smart move, because yes, they could hold out towards YZZ and MVM and maybe take shots down towards DRS or the players that are down on the airstrip, but heading towards this compounded area, yes, it's not directly in the central of the map, but it still is probably the best position that they can hold from and have influence on the rest of the lobby. So I like this play from LGD. They didn't get too greedy with their 2-2 with their 2-2 split, but they were able to at least get some information gathered. DRS, though, still would really love to get a big game here, considering they're 115. They're actually in a position to break into the top 3 if they have a massive match here on game 1.
Was Kengzo there the whole time? Underneath Buradam?
Yeah, he's chilling.
I think it might have been, but finally they spot him out. Take him down in the hangar. God, Tunny has been surviving for quite a while for the Infinity. Made it up to 6th place now. DRS crunching in from that east side. Four Rivals on the open hills as well. LGD not there to slow things down, but they are going to take those sightlines over towards that old position. Voki, was he not spotted there? I don't think he was. My name from Buradam taking a shot over towards DRS. This is open ground, a lot of sightlines from the south side.
That's Jason's boy right there, my name P. I look to take it to the masses inside the lobby at the moment. Voki looks to finish off the players from DRS. Again, an unfortunate result for DRS if they go down early here. I know there's only 6 teams remaining, but considering they started over on Sosnovka military base and had a lot of time to pick up positions within the circle, more central, it is an unfortunate ending for them. And right now they're getting picked apart from Buradam as well as Four Rivals. And we'll go out with a big goose egg of elimination. 0 there. That is terrible news for them from what was kind of a game that should have gone in their favor.
They had a lot of opportunity to rack up a lot more points, but they will fall on that hurdle. Buradam, though, looking to close the gap between them and top spot Influence Kemen. Influence Kemen going down fairly early as well to a pretty comprehensive engagement. They have got that opening. Tiger down on the close fight between them and 4 Rivals.
Oh, that is unfortunate for Buddha.
Goes short of the tree. Rez can go through. Should be able to get Tiger back up. And Happy wants to push out wide with Pemburu. Kengzo in for the backup. They want to hold off the remainder of 4 Rivals. Only 2 players there. So they have 3 barrels against the 2. Pemburu spotted on the side swipe, but Kengzo falls to Pemburu. Happy pushes forwards, wants another. Will be able to find it, but it's cut down finally by Tiger after that res. Crucial. Pemburu is still in the action, and in comes the final player from Buriram to try and keep them in this one. Tiger knows he's there, and Tiger does the job with the nade. They can get these reses. Can they stay up as 4? And do they have the time?
Yeah, I mean, they have to stay up as 4 if they want to challenge out versus LGD. The circle is a little bit slow at this point in time. Again, LGD has played a really phenomenal game here. Yes, it hasn't been a high elim game. We don't see a lot of high elim games coming through from LGD recently, but they've made the right macro decisions to get to this point and have set themselves up fantastically to win this game out. Again, like you said, and I really like the way you put it, John, it is a sequential sequence of just having like a lot of well-informed decisions throughout the entire game, and that has led to this point where they're set up for a chicken dinner. However, John, Buriram so far have shown themselves to be a fantastic teams when it comes to controlling area, controlling space, and not from ideal positions either. So this is a really good opportunity for Buriram to show us what they've got and explain to us exactly why they deserve to be in that top 3.
Currently sat at 1 chicken dinner for Buriram. LGD, similarly, on that first as well. So, we'll be able to double up on that one. Ego XIA, not been so lucky. They've had a 2nd place and 2 thirds, but this could be their first chicken dinner if they make it away from the wall, but you don't think that's going to be very likely. With a little bit of a light up on the nade, that is good news for Buriram to take the thorn out of the side. And the last elim goes through. Now, it's a 4v4.
How does he nade himself and a teammate at this point in the game? It's so crucial. I was going to congratulate I8 on getting this far, but I feel like that does sort of come away from it. Head-to-head win rate, 20% for Buriram. Okay. I mean, respect it. I feel like Buriram's done more incredible things in the past, though. I think this is more 60-40, in my opinion, towards LGD. Buriram is definitely nothing to scoff at, and LGD feeling a little bit cold coming into this game after not having a lot of action their way. It's been a lot of rotates for them, looking for those placements, and for me personally, Buriram is very good at setting up a massive line and being able to pick off targets individually.
But Buriram, they have been suffering. They've been in these fights a lot more. They'll have more utility, but their armor, their helmets, their meds will have been drained a little bit. LGD, though, you can see very, very healthy on those armor and meds, but no helmet for some of the players on Buriram. It's not ideal. Means you can't really peek up too far. Tiger gets the angle on the wall, but LGD still in the circle. 3 of the players there. Tiger denied that sightline.
I mean, it's so cool watching Buriram play, though, because they're constantly shifting positions. You can see LGD being caught out by this a lot of times, switching positions onto the wall side. Buriram's there to take the shots. They move away from the wall. Immediately, Tiger's already repositioning, never allowing LGD to get a certain bead on where they're playing, not allowing these grenades to be perfectly placed. That one's quite far on target. Tiger does take a lot of damage, but you imagine they're going to start moving again. You're right, though. The medical supplies are what's really becoming rough now for Buriram, but 3 smokes, 4 nades, that's good enough. And for Buriram, they know the direction that LGD is playing, and so if they can wait out the game a little bit longer and allow this circle to push in, they might be able to get some really big nades over towards LGD, who've been holding in this compound. It's the only area they can come from, John.
The big issue is CCC are behind this tree. He's stopping any sort of aggression coming through on split angles, and is a linchpin of the defense right now for LGD. Almost solo suppressing and actually giving them a foothold to move out, because this circle will fully close now. Kengzo My name as well, spraying over
Must be a
towards the
nade.
rotate. Will not find it, but Sky only gets one for Wand. YZ
start.
down and flushed. As you say, a good start coming through from Buradam. They might be able to look for this res, but the swing out comes from the buggy, and the arm lobs the nade over the top. Will not find the flush. The Molotov might do, though, but that's an excellent cut down on the back for Kengzo, striking from the off angle for Buradam. They lose one player, but they bring LGD down to 2. CCC spraying through the smoke. Suki is there. 1, 2 fall for Buradam. It's now a 1 versus 1 as we're trading off on the hillside. Suki against Kengzo. Kengzo up and on the ridgeline. A nade in hand, wants to put that back. Only Molotovs available for Suki, and I think he knows where he is. The nade is there. Will it be on target? Takes a lot out of the health bar of CCC, but will not put Suki back. 3 nades there for Suki. 1 nade for Kengzo left after he loses that. But they both avoid, and they both want to get a teammate back if they can. Kengzo faster on it.
I mean, this is why those grenades were so important for Kengzo, and he held on to so many of them. He's had 4 to basically push Suki off this position. Now, they should have a good idea of where he's playing down the hill and setting that into a 2v1 off the back of some well-placed grenades to deny the res. Really, really well done to Buradam. Now, 1v2, definitely not unwinnable for LGD at this stage, but it will be a real crushing defeat for LGD to go down after what has been such a smart game from them.
Oh, Kengzo out into the blue, knocked to the zone. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Yes, coming through from Suki. LGD want to put the final bullet in. There it is. The slug rings across the hills to the north side of the military base, and LGD take it home. Buradam gave them a run for their money, but it will be LGD.
A falter